We've been working around the clock now for some time, planning, saving, and we're basically going to head off from Manchester to the furthest point around the globe and slowly but surely make our way back.
A week and 3 days to go, getting really excited now.
It's a long year. Now I'm staying right here. Who's to say we had our fun? We never answered to anyone. Turning back what's been done. It's a long year. It's a long year. And I'm staying right here.
So here we are at the beginning of our big journey. We're going to, well, pretty much we can say we're going there and back to see how far it is. So the first flight out at the moment, we're going to fly to Singapore and get a connecting flight to New Zealand. And from there we're going to do a little bit of camping and stuff like that. Are you excited, Jen?
So we left Manchester to begin a grueling 24-hour flight to New Zealand, arriving in Auckland at about 1 AM in the morning. The flight was great and we were well catered for. However, little did we know we were about to encounter our first little glitch of this journey.
So here we are in New Zealand. The flight was good, it was alright, the food was good on the flight. We get here and guess what? Our bags haven't arrived. So we checked into the hotel, juicy snooze, and we've got to wait till 12 o'clock tomorrow for our bags. Bit cheesed off really, but we're going to get on with it and not let it get us down. I'm sure they'll be here tomorrow. Get up, have some breakfast and just see what's in the city.
Auckland is the largest urban area in New Zealand. The city is a large harbour town located on New Zealand's North Island, which spills out into the Pacific Ocean. The surrounding hills are covered in rainforests and the landscape is dotted with dozens of dormant volcanoes. The Maoris, who are the indigenous residents, first settled around 1350 AD and valued the land because it was rich and fertile. The Maori population in the area was estimated to have been around 20,000 before the arrival of Europeans. Today, Auckland is a very modern cosmopolitan city with a population of around 161 million people.
After a few days spent in the city and having sorted out all our luggage problems, we had a kind invitation to go and stay with one of my best friend's cousin. Her name was Sarah. She lived with her partner Matt in a lovely farmhouse just north of a town called Whangarei. So we picked up our hire car from Juicy Rentals and we headed north.
soon left the concrete of the urban jungle behind us. The scenery turned into wide open spaces, lush forests, rolling hills. It immediately became apparent what a beautiful country New Zealand actually is.
After a 2.5 hour drive, we finally arrived at Sarah and Matt's. Sarah was cooking us a lovely meal. Sarah and Matt own a lifestyle farm. Everything you can see down to the immediate tree line is their land. Me and Steve were blown away with the landscape that Sarah and Matt call home.
So we got up early the next morning and went and explored the surrounding area of Whangarei.
Okay, so we're in the Northland in New Zealand and we're just about to walk up Mount Manaya. Beautiful viewpoint on the top. Let's go.
Mount Manaya is 420 metres above sea level and looks out onto the Hauraki Gulf. We couldn't have picked a better day. The weather was absolutely beautiful. The trail that we are walking on is one of the many trails across New Zealand that is mapped out by the Department of Conservation. There is no better way to view this beautiful country. The track is made up of lots of different sets of steps, all leading upwards into the forest canopy. The steps felt like they were going on forever. The walk was really putting us through our paces. We drank at least 2 litres of water and our legs felt like jelly. But I've got to say, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world. We finally made it to the top. Our legs were absolutely killing from the climb. The whole walk was well worth it. We were rewarded with clear views around the surrounding bays. It was absolutely stunning.
That evening we had a really kind invite from Sarah's in-laws to go and view the beef farm. The farm went pretty much as far as the eye can see. It was almost like the size of a national park. Within the land there was forests, streams, a lake, a quarry. It was just absolutely vast. We got to see how the cows go through the different stages of development and learn about all the different things that have to be considered for the welfare of the livestock before it goes to market. We had a lot of fun using Adrian's four-wheel drive to drive the cattle from paddock to paddock. The cows were just so inquisitive. They just seemed to be such social creatures. The whole experience was just fantastic and one that we will never forget. We finished the evening watching the sunset into the land. with a little company from the cows.
So the time came to say goodbye to Sarah and Matt. Next on the list was to travel down to the Coromandel Peninsula, where the plan was to explore some of its beautiful beaches. We're here on New Zealand beach.
Cathedral Cove to be precise.
Very beautiful, very lovely. Bit of a walk down, but as long as you've not done Mount Mania 2 days before, you should be okay.
Which we did Mount Mania and our legs are killing, but it was worth it. And this walk here was worth it today. It's beautiful down here.
So, yeah, it's beautiful. There's really nice blue seas, caves all around.
And we can't be arsed walking back up.
Yeah, we can't. And we're off to hot water beaches in a minute, where you can dig a hole and the water fills up and it's like your own hot tub.
Yeah, so we'll see you down there. See you later.
We didn't rush off though, we just spent some time just soaking up the scenery and enjoying this piece of paradise. At the beach, you hire a couple of spades, you buy a couple of cans, find a space near where the thermal spots are on the beach, you dig a hole, the water will rise within the hole and you have your own hot tub jacuzzi. A gift from Mother Nature. By now the journey south was gathering some momentum. We have plans now to visit Rotorua, and then from there we will go to Lake Taupo, the largest inland body of water in New Zealand, and then after heading south through the Tongariro National Park, we'll make a stop at the Pohangina Valley, and then finally, before catching our ferry to the South Island, we will go and visit my cousin and his wife Rachel and Adam, and they live in Wellington, the Windy City.
We arrived in Rotorua and we decided to check out Te Puia, a geothermal natural wonder. Also there, we visited a Maori village and art centre.
Here we are at Rotorua, basically walking around the volcano. There's blowing smoke and steam all over the place, coming from the centre of the planet. I think it's well worth a visit, it's brilliant. What do you think, Jeb?
Roger.
Shall I push you down the hole?
No. stood at the foot of an exploding geisha, which was truly spectacular to watch. Everywhere you looked, there was steam rising from all the cracks in the ground. This gave you a real sense of what is actually going on below the surface of the ground that we walk on.
The more that we explored the area, the more we were absolutely amazed by the landscape around us. We saw geishas exploding 10 feet in the air. Streams of water boiling above 200 degrees Celsius. Mud pools boiling away ferociously. It was like being on another planet, something we'd never seen the likes of before.
The next part of the tour was to learn a bit more about the Maori culture, so we started by having a look around the Arts and Crafts Centre. Here they teach young Maoris all the old crafts such as wood and stone carving. Another craft we got to look at was grass weaving, where they made things like baskets, items of clothing and even fishing nets. At the end of the tour we were invited to attend a pua feedie. This is a welcome originally to challenge a visiting party and find out their intentions.
This was all serious business as the warrior came out to make the challenge. This was then followed by a form of haka.
Once the formalities were out of the way, we all went into the meeting house where the Maoris performed music and stories. Visiting the Maoris was a great experience and lots of fun. We were even invited to take part in the songs.
We're loving our little white Nissan hire car, and it's Gemma's turn to drive now, which also means it's Gemma's turn to choose the music on the iPod. Okay, so moving on with our road trip, we are going to make a couple of nights stop now at the magnificent Lake Taupo. Lake Taupo is the largest body of inland fresh water in New Zealand. The weather was being really kind to us, it was beautiful. So we said, I know what, let's hire some bicycles and go for a lovely ride around the lake. Anyway, as soon as we picked the bikes up, the heavens opened. We just said, well, we might not ever get a chance to do this again, so let's just carry on regardless. And you know what? It was an absolutely fantastic day. The weather didn't ruin it at all. Besides which, there were plenty of pubs en route where we could take shelter if necessary and have a nice cold pint of beer. Up until now, we have seen cities, farmlands, beaches, forests and lakes, and now we are just about to hit our first big mountain range. The road we are on is approximately 1,000 metres above sea level. The outside temperature had dropped considerably. For Lord of the Rings fans, the Tongariro National Park was used for the setting for Mordor and Mount Doom in the movie. To me and Gemma, it was just a perfect place to stop and have a nice picnic. Although it did cross my mind that at any minute we could get abducted by goblins. Joking aside, in my opinion, it's got to be one of the greatest drives in the world. The Valley was one of the highlights of the North Island. It was just like the Shire where the hobbits live off Lord of the Rings. The campsite that we stayed on was miles away from anything at all.
The valley is surrounded by green pastures, with a deep gorge and a river cutting through it. On the other side of the gorge there is a large area of forest that is teeming with wildlife.
It was at the Pohangina Valley that we met Justin and Jake.
These guys were a pair of New Zealand hunters and had been in the valley hunting wild boar and stalking deer. At first we were a bit wary. We were in the middle of nowhere with two rough-looking guys who had guns and knives. Just the four of us in the Kiwi wilderness. Eventually we broke the ice when they invited us to join them in a nearby hunter's cabin to break bread and share some of the venison from the kill they had just made.
It was not long before Justin broke out a bottle of his homemade moonshine. So we stoked the fire up and drank and ate.
We had a blast. It turned out to be one of the best nights of the trip.
So after saying goodbye to Pohangina, we hit the road and headed off to Wellington. Fortunately, when we arrived there, the weather had taken a turn for the worst, and Wellington was living up to its reputation as being the windy city. Tell me what you think of Wellington. Come on. What's the weather like?
Windy.
It's a bit choppy, isn't it?
Hi, it's windy.
Although there was so much more to see and do here, we pretty much spent most part of the day just ducking in and out of places, trying to get warm and dry.
Right, we are having a bit of a dilemma. It's raining, cold, windy in Wellington. We need a brew and we need a wee.
Although we are in a McDonald's, which you would say would be the solution to it, but it's not.
Because it's half a joint with a petrol station. And Stephen's in a bad mood.
I've had enough for one day.
He doesn't love me anymore, he's really angry.
No, I'm not angry, I'm standing up.
So we're probably gonna get this sorted soon. Thanks for watching.
In the end, we finally found a wonderful little curious cafe that sold lovely cheesecake and lattes. So although Wellington was a total washout, the good thing to come out of it is that I have got a cousin, Adam. He emigrated there quite a few years ago now with his wife Rachel. So it was a fantastic opportunity to have a good old catch up, and also to see what sort of life he'd created for himself in New Zealand. As we arrived at Adam's house, it turned out that it was right in the middle of a flagging part of his garden. So I did the right thing, rolled my sleeves up, and we cracked on working at his garden together. But it was a great way to catch up and have a natter while we were laying his flags down. He certainly created a very good lifestyle for himself in New Zealand, one that you probably couldn't replicate in the UK. His house is lovely and the whole area he lives in is just idyllic. After a hard working afternoon of laying flags in Adam and Rachel's garden, they took us out for a bit of a night on the town to their local village called Upper Hutt. I have to say it's a lovely little town. It kind of reminds me of how things must have looked in the 50s and the 60s back in England. That night we ate Mexican food, drank plenty of beer and enjoyed some live entertainment. Again, it was time to move on. This time things were a little bit different. Our time on the North Island was done. We now had to jump on the Inter-Island Link ferry and make our way over to the South Island. At first we were a bit cheesed off. The only available tickets to cross from the north to the south were available in the evening time. We wanted to travel during the day because we wanted to take our chances at seeing the whales and the dolphins and the seal colonies, but we were wrong. The views of the sunset on the Cook Strait were absolutely amazing. the North Island journey draws to a close, we hope that you come and join us on the next episode, where we will be travelling across the South Island. See you next time.